Hey guys, Roll Tanker back again. Hope you all are enjoying a very good Christmas, or if you've already had it, I hope you've all gotten some really good presents and possibly new miniatures. In this video, we will be looking at issue 11, 12, 13, and 14. I know it's a pretty big one, but since it's Christmas Day, I might as well do a bit of a longer video for you guys. And if you like these sort of like slightly longer videos where I try and show it off a bit more than I would do, then please let me know down below. And yeah, let's get cracking into this. So of course we'll go for the usual format, which is we look at the magazines first, and then the contents, and which will be the miniatures, paints, anything like that. And then we'll round up the video. So to start with issue 11. So in issue 11, we get the Librarian in Infobus armor, and I can't wait to paint this guy. And in all fairness, I've been quite looking forward to this one, so we'll put all the miniatures and stuff like that off to the side whilst we deal with the magazines. Again, very nice bit of artwork for the Phobos Librarian. And of course on the back it'll show you what you get in your next issues. And yeah, let's get into this one. So again, it's the usual sort of way of how they're planning this out, which is a little bit of detailing of what the Phobos Librarian is wearing and what he's equipped with, and then just a tiny bit of lore from a Phobos Librarian. So if you guys want to pause the video and read some of this, you absolutely can. There we go. And then of course, usual, you can name him, name the equipment, and whatever powers you want to give him. And then in this, it goes into a little bit more contents about what the librarians are, what their battlefield role is, and also how they help, I believe, guide ships through the warp and stuff like that. So librarians are very key for the Imperium. So there's a little bit of lore there. I think it continues on a bit. Yeah, it does. So it goes through the ranks of a librarian. So the acolytes are the lowest ranked librarians, so where they're just starting out. And then they gradually work their way up to a chief librarian. And some of their psychic disciplines, along with a bit more context about a Lieutenant Cassius, I believe. Yeah, Lieutenant Cassius of the Ultramarine Second Company. And I'm pretty sure it's about him encountering a Chaos Sorcerer, and I think a Librarian helps him out, so yep. And then over here, so we've got the Necrons as well. So some of their artifacts as well. There we go. And as always, still very, very amazing artwork. And some of the melee weapons for the Necrons that they wield. So some of their staffs, depression shields, their void blades, all of that good stuff for those that really like the Necrons. I mean, I'm personally not the biggest fan of Necrons, but maybe I might grow to them at some point, but I'm just, like, preferring the Imperium with the Space Marines and the Imperial Guard. Then it just goes into how to build it. Of course, if you guys have seen this miniature, you probably have built this one before. And then just goes into how to paint him with all the paints that you currently have in the previous issues. And then it just goes over a scenario where I think it's the Librarian versus the Royal Warden and some of the Scarab Swarms that you got with the Necron Warriors. So yep, just goes over a bit about the game that you play and stuff like that. So that's issue 11. And literally guys, I don't know how long this video is gonna be, so if it is quite a long video, then please sit back and relax. Because I have not really planned this video out that well, so hopefully this is good enough for now, I hope. So issue 12, What you get in it is just some additional paints, just to add some more details to your Necron warriors. And I believe this goes into a bit more about Necron lore and some of the names of the war gear. So you can name some of the weapons and all that stuff that the Necrons are wielding. I'll just leave it there for a minute if you guys want to read it. There we go. Yep, there we are. So a little bit more about some of the names that you can give to the weapons. Hopefully that captures a lot of it for you. There we go. I think off the top of my head, this issue is just a little bit more of about a background lore and some fluff like that. So there we go. There we are. And a little bit more just there, including a little bit about Commander Dante, who, as far as I'm aware, is possibly almost like second or third in charge of the Imperium, because he's actually gotten really friendly with Maya Skalgar of the Ultramarines. So there's a little bit there if you want to pause and read it if you'd like. And then it goes into chapter planets. So chapter planets are where a lot of the Space Marine chapters will get their new recruits from. So it's like if it's the Ultramarines, they'll get most of their recruits from Macragge and all the surrounding planets in Ultramar. If it's the Blood Angels, they'll most likely get it from Baal, their capital. And I can't remember some of the other planets. I know one or two of them are not fortress worlds, but just basically floating temples on just a bit of rock. But at least I think that's the Dark Angels. I could be wrong. But there's a little bit more there. So, of course, you go into fleet-based chapters. And a good fleet-based chapter is the Black Templars, because they are always on a constant crusade. So they don't exactly have a home planet, but they constantly keep getting new recruits. So there's a little bit about the Chaos Demons and some of their chaotic ways. And then it goes into some of the Chaos Gods, so the four main gods that the Imperium and a lot of the other factions are having to face quite a lot is Khorne, Nurgle, Tzeentch, and Slaanesh. And until the four Chaos Gods are dealt with, there's no end to the war in the 41st millennium, so eventually at some point they will probably be dealt with, or they'll just give up, but I doubt I see that happening. And then it just goes into adding some of the new paints, so like you get Agrax Earthshade in this, you get Screamer Pink, and I believe you get a brass colour as well, just to add a bit more to the Necrons. There we go. And then it just goes into another scenario where it's some Ultramarines versus, or even if you don't paint them up as Ultramarines, you've got the Prize Captain you get, Assault Intercessors, the Necron Overlord, and the Necron Warriors in a little fight just there. So that's issue 12. On to issue 13. I mean, in this one you do get a little bit more, so I'll just grab this little bit out here. So this is the bit that you get in issue 13, which is a bit more about the Space Marine chapters. So 1,000 chapters, and it gives you some, as you can see, it's a little bit flimsy, but it gives you some examples of the chapters. So you've got Imperial Fists, Black Templars, if we flip over the Space Wolves, Dark Angels, then in here, there we go, you've got White Scars and Blood Angels. So these are some of the examples of the chapters that you may get in the 40k universe. 40k universe. And the Dark Angels, the Space Wolves, the Imperial Fist, the Blood Angels, and the White Scars are all first founding chapters, while the Black Templars are a successor chapter to the Imperial Fists. And then it just goes into the Adeptus Astartes at war. So it's just showing where a lot of the fighting is being taken place in the 41st millennium. And it just goes over a pretty big map of what the Imperium's having to deal with so much conflict here and there. And then that big red mark leading all the way down the map is basically the Chaos Warp Storm that has literally cut the universe in half. So a lot of the Adeptus Astartes chapters are cut off from the main Imperium. But as far as I'm aware in lore, that's starting to fade away a little bit. I can't be sure, but it's a nice bit of additional to have, so quite neat to have that. Issue 13, you get 5 Assault Intercessors to add to your previous 3 that you got in issue 4, I'm gonna say. At least I think it's issue 4. And as usual, just some bits about what they're equipped with. Like the front guy here, he's the squad sergeant, so if you're doing this as Ultramarines, if you're going down the lore route, the Ultramarine sergeant would have a red helmet, and then I believe a veteran sergeant has a red helmet with a white stripe down the middle of it, or it could be the other way around where it's a white stripe and a red line down the middle. I can't be sure. And then it just goes into naming them if you'd like to. Then a bit more lore about the Necrons, so their search for immortality sort of thing. So there we go. There we are. And a lot more lore about the Catan and the Old Ones, which are the ancient cells before they became the Necrons. And then going on about some of the Tomb Awakenings. So a lot of the Tomb Worlds are starting to reactivate again and start causing more trouble for the Imperium. And it just kind of shows how a Tomb World reawakens. There we go. And a lot more lore there if you'd like to read that. I mean, I tend to read the occasional bit of lore, but I'm more into more of like the video games and sort of YouTube videos about lore and stuff like that. And then it just goes into how to build them, and the usual, how to paint them, that sort of thing. A lot of this I can just quickly breeze through quite quickly. And then it just goes into some of the stats and all this, that. And then just goes over a scenario where you use the captain and the 5 new assault intercessors that you get. There we go. So that's issue 13. We're nearly towards the end, guys. Issue 14. You get your first bit of terrain, which is a Minotaur armor container, some barrels and crates that you can add to your table or the playmat you get. It kind of goes over what they're mainly used for, so the containers will be able to store munitions and other bits like that, and are normally found on ships and things. And these Stormbolters can be manned by your miniatures, or I believe they're like almost sentry sort of thing as well. And then it goes over what the barrels are containing, so Promethium, and what munition the ammunition crates will hold. And I've already got 2 of these already, and I cannot wait to add this container plus the additional one which I just got the other day. So those next 4 magazines will be shown at a later point. And then it gives you a tally chart of how many kills the Stormbolter gets and how many times you've secured the objective. And then it goes into a little about the Eldar, which is a bit weird to see in this sort of magazine, but if you're interested, you can look at the Eldar for a little bit. I'll just hold it there for you. There we are. and just goes into a little bit the lore about who the Eldar are, their craft worlds, how they use the webway, all that sort of stuff, and that they are considered to be the best at dealing with the Necrons, but it is entirely up to your opinion who can deal with the Necrons better. But from what a lot of the lore and that sort of stuff, the Eldar are personally probably the best at dealing with them, because the Necrons are their most ancient enemies, so they typically have to deal with a Necron invasion or a Tomb World reawakening after so long, so a lot of the time then you will see the Eldar have to deal with the Necrons quite a bit. And pretty much here it's just going into how to paint it, and then how it should look like at the end. And then it just goes over in a scenario, how to get around the barrels, how to go up on top of, say, the container, how to use the weapons. And then it goes over a scenario where I believe you've got a squad of, I think it's assault intercessors, and you have to do, I believe it's retake the container from the Necrons holding it. So there we go. And there we are. So there's all the magazines and everything else that we needed. And then we'll go back to here. So this is the Librarian Infobus armor. Again, a very nice miniature with a lot of detail. Can't wait to paint this guy. There we go. And I haven't painted a Librarian in a long time, so I can't wait to paint him. You get the base, and you get a medium dry brush in there. Then I believe it's issue 12. We get 3 paints. So Agrex Earthshade, Screamer Pink, and Canoptic Alloy. I think that's how you say it. Then issue 13, you get the 5 Assault Intercessors. So again, can't wait to paint these guys when I eventually get round to them. And pretty much a lot of these are exactly the same as the first 3. So if you go back a few videos, I have put up a video of me doing issue 4, I believe it is. And in that issue, some of the Assault Intercessors from this are pretty much nearly exactly the same as them. And then issue 14 is the munitions container, the ammunition boxes, and the barrels. So there we go. Nothing really too special to show off, even though I've seen loads of people do really nice conversion work with these containers, doing like little weird shops and stuff like that. But that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this slightly longer video than I would normally do. So again, please like, subscribe, put your comments down below if you like these sort of slightly longer videos. And I hope you all enjoy your Christmas or Boxing Day, however you want to celebrate. And hope to see you all in the next one.